those of you who are just joining in and wondering what the heck is going on, I'm Kathy Hester. Welcome to my kitchen. And tonight what we're going to do is we're going to make an Instant Pot sweet and sour cabbage. It's super easy. Since I'm going live a lot this month, like daily, I'm in my sweatpants. I hope you are cozy and getting ready to have your dinner. If you're not cozy, make yourself some hot chocolate, some hot white chocolate, have something delicious, and just relax, and we'll chill out and make some sweet and sour cabbage, which is, in fact, the cabbage recipe that turns cabbage haters into cabbage lovers. That's what I say to you. And so let's say hi to some people. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the saute. Since I'm on the Duo Crisp air fryer, there is a start button. I must press it. So there we go. And while that's getting warm a little bit, Joanne is in her robe, yay. And Marilyn says, everybody can hear me. I have no idea what weird thing just happened. But, c'est la vie, as they say. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to saute some onions. If you use oil, what you could do is you could put a tablespoon of oil in there and let it get warm before you put the onions in. If you are water sauteing or dry sauteing, it's okay if it's not hot. What happens if you're using oil is it kind of absorbs it and gets kind of icky, and there's nothing really much for it to absorb. I'm going to put just a few drops of water. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put my onions in because I don't need it to be hot yet. And this is a really simple dish, and so this way we can start sauteing. This and the actual cook time are the longest things. It's a really quick dish. In fact, the ingredients that you need, we're using a half a cup of onions. We're going to use about 4 cloves of garlic, about 1 large apple, so somewhere between 1 and 1.5 cups-ish. You got 2 cups of apples? Throw them in. Got 1 cup of apples? Throw them in. I'm good. You know what I am going to do real quick is turn on the fan. Okay, so I turned on the fan because I could already see the steam starting to happen, and I don't want to fog up the camera. I want you to be able to see what's going on. So some of the people on Facebook, I don't see your name. I think you're in a Facebook group, but if you want, I would love to personalize my hello to you. Just say, like, Cheryl, hi, and things like that, and I'll be glad to do it. If I'm not calling out your name, it's only because I don't see it. And I don't know if you guys can hear the sizzle. I was getting ready to lean over so you can hear the sizzle. But let's see. We got lots of people in here today. We've got Joanne and Linda and Dawn and Marilyn and Stephanie. Facebook user. Could it be you, Helene? Perhaps. Let's see who else. I said Dawn already. There's a few Facebook users. Stephanie. Okay, awesome. I think there's a few people on Facebook. And yeah, Robert says no big deal, but it seems like the string is a little slow and not quite in sync. And there's nothing I can do about that. I am plugged directly into the router. For some reason, I was even on a live call before this and had 0 issues. So I don't know if everybody is trying to do something fun around dinner time. We'll see. I may do an unboxing tomorrow instead of cooking something. Because I think my misfits will be here, and we haven't done a misfit unboxing in a while. So those of you who may be, hi Karen, and I am on YouTube now, Diane, at least for this little bit. I'm doing experiments, so I'm going live on Restream, which lets me stream out to YouTube and various Facebook places all at the same time. I'm going to see if Facebook penalizes me for it. So if I don't get as much reach, then I'm thinking I'll do YouTube Live and a Facebook Live separate. If I don't get penalized, I'll keep doing it like this. We were having some issues with the stream from going through the program last week, but we seem to have fixed some of those. And so, like, if you want to, I know that Joanne often doesn't use any water in her saute when she's doing this, because if you have a nice stainless steel pan or a nonstick pan, you don't have to have oil to saute your onions. Since I'm talking to you and not always paying good attention, I like to keep some water in there just so I don't burn anything. But it's up to you and the style that you cook. And Susan is off of Facebook. Welcome to YouTube and welcome here. And Marilyn's on Facebook. Marilyn, I see you. So you must be on a page, I wonder. And yeah, I think what happened is I honestly think that my microphone died. So again, whenever you if I go live every day for a week, something exciting happens. And I've been using this microphone for a couple of years. We did just buy a backup. And maybe that was the universe's way of going, perhaps you should use the backup now. So we'll try that out next time. So, and as you can see everything kind of sizzling away a little bit. And in general, you guys who have my cookbooks know that I'm big for cooking until translucent is like my visual clue on when the onions are ready. And so they look a little less white and a little less white until they get translucent. And the flavor mellows a lot in that time. So Cheryl doesn't like onions at all, but she eats onions in all her food with me because I've cooked it till it's not got that strong, sharp onion flavor. And also, I chop them really small so she doesn't have her texture issues. Elizabeth, yay! Welcome, and Elizabeth is cooking along. And so you can find this recipe, you guys, I don't think I even told you, on plantbasedinstantpot.com. Just search, there's a little magnifying glass in the upper right-hand or lower right-hand corner. Click it, type in red cabbage, and you're good to go. It's the only red cabbage recipe I have. And in fact, it was supposed to be in this book, The Ultimate Vegan Cookbook for Your Instant Pot. And you can see the picture of it with some pierogies. So the pierogies made it, but the cabbage got cut. You see, I'm not paying attention and I could have burned those. I'll let go a little bit more. And actually, I don't know that I've sauteed in this new Instant Pot yet either. This seems to get hot a little faster than my other duo. And every time, because the weather is cooler, that I'm pouring this water in, it's going to kind of stop the cooking just ever so slightly, bring the temperature back down a little bit. And Dawn is on Facebook. And Dawn, now I see you. Maybe it's just the people who are in the Facebook groups. So if you're watching on Kathy's Cooking Club or Vegan Recipes, Cooking with Kathy Hester, you might need to put your name in if you're talking to me. I will also check comments later, too, in case I miss anything. And Cindy is finally catching me live. Yay, Cindy. Yeah. And okay, great. And Marilyn's on Plant-Based Instant Pot Facebook page, and I can see her. So you guys know that you can get any of my books on Amazon. There's some books that you can still get, depending on how many I have in the house still, on virtualvegfest.com. So if you're looking for a Christmas gift or a Kwanzaa gift or just because it's cold outside gift, they make nice gifts. And if you order it from Virtual Veg Fest, I don't know if we have this Instant Pot book, but if you order one of the books I do have there, I can sign that for you or a loved one. And I'm putting in about 4 cloves of minced garlic. So typically what we do, I'm used to my mic. I was walking away. So typically what we do is with our aromatics, you want to kind of like get the edge off. So by sauteing them before we put everything together. You could have just put everything together and cooked it, but it's not going to have the same subtle, nice taste. Okay, great. So I see there's more people coming in. So what we're making tonight is we're making Instant Pot sweet and sour cabbage, which I say is the cabbage recipe that turns cabbage haters into cabbage lovers. And that's because it's got a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there and some apples. And you could use applesauce. I'm using apples tonight because that's what I had, and I don't have any applesauce. And that's also why I kind of cut mine up a little bit smaller. Get this a little bit better. There we go. So what we're making is a simple side dish. So this is great for pierogies. We had some Beyond sausage brats that we're going to cook with this. And I'll tell you a little more about our dinner once we start this. Oh, and I did forget one thing. I do need some more water. I'm going to go ahead and press cancel so the saute stops. And I'm going to run over here and get some water. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little more water in here because it's starting to burn a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the apples in. And about 6 cups of cabbage. You kind of want to have it chopped up. I haven't separated all of it, but some of it will separate nicely after it cooks. And I do need to quickly remind myself. Actually, Elizabeth, do you have the recipe right there with you? Actually, I need to remember how much water I need to put in here because I didn't write that down. I should be sharing because I'm actually going to the website and looking it up really quick, just like I told you to do a minute ago. Oh, yay! From Richmond, Virginia is catching me live. Okay, so actually, why don't I do this really quick? We'll do this. And I looked it up. See, I clicked up here. I'm going to go to sweet and sour red cabbage. And then I'm just going to scroll down. The recipes are usually at the bottom. And there we go. How many cups? 1 cup of water. See, I was about to overdo it. Okay, so we're going to do about 1 cup of water. A little bit more. And if you want to, you can add salt now or add salt later. That is up to you. I usually add the salt, pepper, and the vinegar after the cooking time. Hi, Becky from Tennessee. Thank you, Elizabeth. And the Facebook user from Richmond, Virginia, if you come back and say, it's so-and-so from Richmond, I will be glad to call you by your name. Oh, it is. It's Becky from Tennessee. Yay! You did it before I even asked. You're so smart. Okay. So when we're using the pressure cooker, you're always going to have about a cup of liquid. There's, like in all of life, there are some exceptions to that rule. So I'm just kind of mixing it around, trying to poke on some of this cabbage, get it separate a little bit because it makes me happy. If it doesn't make you happy, you don't have to do it. Okay. So if you're new now, we're making sweet and sour cabbage in our Instant Pot. We first sauteed a 1/2 cup of onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and then we just added in 1 cup of water between 1 and 2 cups of minced or small diced apple, or you could use a cup of applesauce, and about 6 cups of cabbage. And now we are going to go to pressure cook. We're going to pressure cook it on high for 10 minutes. You could probably do a little less if you want. I want to make sure those apples break down really nice. If your Instant Pot has a start button, click the start button like I just did. So we'll be waiting a few minutes for it to come up to pressure. And so we have time to chat. So let's see, what do we have here? It's Becky from Tennessee and Caroline from Richmond, Virginia. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you guys really coming out and supporting me, doing all of these lives. It means a lot to me. It really, really does. And I know that quality and microphone issues and all these things can happen, but it's just really nice to be able to spend time with you guys. So we've got some time. We probably have minimum 15 minutes to chat. I can talk a little bit about some ingredients, but if you have some questions, either Instant Pot, air fryer, vegan substitution, what book should you get, what am I doing in my next class, we'll get to those too. But if you want to kind of prompt me or get some input on what's going on, I would love to do that. And actually, I'm going to close those windows out. Okay, I feel better now. Okay, so if you don't already know, I'm doing an air fryer class called Air Fryer Fun on Saturday. We're going to make spring rolls, and we're going to make a gingerbread crumble. We're going to make some really cool stuff. So if you're interested in taking that class, go on over to kathyhester.podia, podia.com, and check it out. The class after that, we're doing holiday appetizers. And one of the things I'm doing is like a little coconut tofu that we're actually doing in the air fryer the week later. And if you don't have an air fryer, you can make these in your stove. Or not in your stove, kind of, in your oven. What do we call the appliance? The stovetop is stove. I guess it is a stove, the whole thing. Let's see, I would like a consensus on that. It is in your stove. Or is it only in your oven? What do you guys think? So, but anyhow, and you use that like Thai sweet chili sauce. So it's really reminiscent of like coconut shrimp is what it's kind of like. But we'll have some nice holiday appetizers because I don't know about you guys, but Cheryl and I are kind of planning on having our own little happy quarantine for a while things are getting a little bit rougher out. And kind of having appetizer meals and things like that, that can be really, really fun. And I was just talking to someone recently, and I need to make a better, easier to make vegan cream cheese. I have an avocado cashew one, but I don't always have an avocado on the ready. But we were talking about, putting the pepper jelly over it. You remember doing that with crackers? Did you guys do that when you grew up? Because it's one of those appetizers that take no effort, but it's really fun. It's kind of like when you get to have chili mac. You don't have to be 10 to get excited about it. There's little things like that are super fun. On your stove, in your oven, Marilyn has said that yes, no, I was wrong. But it's after 4. You get what you get sometimes. Just kidding. Oh, I like that. Joanne says, in the oven of your stove. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate that little extra wiggle room. Awesome. Christine has a question from my Great Vegan Bean book. I want to make the coconut Thai basil rice noodles, but can't find Thai basil. Can I just use regular basil? Yeah, you can. There is a slight difference in flavor, but on the whole, that would be the best substitution you can make. So, in fact, and Dawn says she really likes the taste of Kite Hill, so would love to be able to make one with similar flavor. I know. I'm working on some stuff. It may take a little while. Joanne is prepping me for vegan cheese making. She's being my like main support in my like entrance into the vegan cheese making world. But it would be really good because like if you get a really lovely cream cheese or ricotta that's store-bought, they are quite expensive. And it's hard to think, I'm going to spend $7 on this beautiful artisanal, vegan cream cheese, and I'm going to pour pepper jelly over it. I just can't do it. But if I made it, I'd feel a little better. Okay. So one of the things, Christine, is if you have, and I don't think you said where you were from that I saw. So depending on where you live, if you have an Asian market near you, you will find regular basil, Thai basil, cilantro, a lot of those things really, really inexpensively. And so when I came back from the chiropractor today, right on the way home is Li Ming's. So that's one we have in the Triangle. And actually, it was very sparsely populated because I went early, and I actually went and stocked up on mushrooms and what else? And ginger and turmeric and a lot of things that I get there that are more expensive at the regular grocery store. And I know you guys heard me talk when I did the refried beans that if you go to the Hispanic market, it's a great place to get avocados, limes, chili peppers, dried chilies, Mayakoba beans. So I know depending on where you live, you may or may not have as many options. But I would encourage you, if you can, and in fact, at Li Ming's, they have the wild lime leaves in the freezer that I can use to make Thai curry. So there's some things I can get and kind of prep up. You can get lemongrass in the freezer section there too. Oh, that's awesome. Dawn makes ricotta, mozzarella, brie, and sour cream and all the things. Yay you. And some other people we are staying in for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We always visited family, and I brought my additions. This year I'm freaking out about preparing all of this alone. Thank you for bringing that up. This is a different year. Normally, I don't do my lives in sweatpants. I do present you with my lovely Harry Potter t-shirts that I am so proud of. Yes, it's going to be counting down in a minute. So what I would like to present is 2020 is a different year. You don't have to make all the things. Okay, so let's just take a deep breath and think, what are your favorite things? What did you like about the dinner? Like, I know growing up for me, on Christmas Eve, we always had oyster stew, which obviously is not something I've eaten in a very long time. But I did buy some oyster mushrooms, and I'm thinking of making a really delightful mushroom soup to kind of bring back that memory. So with Thanksgiving dinner, usually it's not 17,000 dishes. It might be like, I miss the way my mom's stuffing was a little crispier. Or maybe your mom's stuffing was a little mushier, and that's how you like it. I know some people miss their mom's cooked turnips. So think about what it is that really gives you the most pleasure out of that meal and really focus on that too. Oh, Stephanie, I like your style. Stephanie has put pepper jelly over hummus, and I think I might have to try that. I could at least put it over like a simple cashew cheese spread or something. I wouldn't want to do I'm going to be thinking about this. There's going to be some pepper jelly in my Amazon shopping cart tonight. I feel it. I feel it about to happen. But when you're thinking about holidays, and this is something I talk about every year, because when people are transitioning to being vegan, or maybe you're just going, you're the only vegan going to a big dinner, I usually say, well, what's your favorite thing? Do you really miss pie? Like, I'm gluten-free and vegan now. So vegan by choice, gluten-free because my doctor makes me. So if I was going to go, before I might bring a nice main dish for me that could be a side dish for someone else. Now I'm going to bring some pie or cake because there's nobody going to have anything vegan and gluten-free for me. So, and I have a sweet tooth. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about the holidays. So, but if it's like, I really want this. So think of it that way on that kind of larger level, but then bring it down, like, what if soup is your favorite thing? What if instead of making 7 dishes, you make 3 soups and have a soup sampling? That could be something interesting to do too. Helene says she's hungry. Me too, sister, me too. And the more we talk about food, the more it's going to happen. I got stuff I got to do after this. We're just making the cabbage right now. But we've got I'm trying to, since I put so many mushrooms, I probably bought 7 pounds of mushrooms that I actually cleaned, sliced, and I've thrown into the freezer so I can just pull them out as I need them. And I did that with just the regular button mushrooms, which are like under $2 a pound at the Asian market. And I got some shiitake mushrooms that I think were $5.99 a pound. I mean, so it's very inexpensive for mushrooms. And now if I decide to stay in longer, then I have some special treats I can pull out for myself. But because of that, we had 2 lonely Beyond Meat brats in there. Cheryl's Polish. She loves having that sausage every once in a while. It's expensive and high fat, so we don't eat it a lot. But I was like, let's pull those out. I know I have some leftover mashed potatoes. I kept aside some of those shiitake mushrooms. I'm going to make a little gravy and serve it with a really big helping of this cabbage. So it's going to be like half the plate's going to be cabbage, some potatoes, and a little sausage. So, for us, that's a pretty special dinner too. It's like a more traditional kind of dinner. And what tastes make Christmas special for you? And I think it is something to think about. Like, we had to think about that for Thanksgiving too. We usually go to a big vegan event that's in Durham, and it's actually the largest vegan Thanksgiving in the country. And there's multiple seatings, and it's this ginormous, amazing buffet, and everything's vegan. And even most of it is gluten-free too. So we decided not to go do that, but we decided having something Thanksgiving was important to us. So we supported a local vegan restaurant. And Fiction Kitchen, if you're ever in the area in Raleigh, it's one of my favorite restaurants, period, anywhere. Caroline Morrison and her wife run it, and it's just delightful. So we actually ordered from her, and we got 2 entrees, so I could take the whole weekend off cooking, an extra entrees. And I'm starting to rethink maybe we should do that for Christmas. And if you're kind of in the giving spirit anyhow, because of the holidays, now's a really important time to support our local vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants, because they may have to close down again. So if you have the extra money and you can do it comfortably, try and support them if you can. And that way you can we actually brought out a cooler, got some ice, and just put stuff in there. I didn't even have to clean out the fridge. It was amazing. And Joanne said she loved oyster stew, so she'll need to try it using oyster mushrooms. King oyster mushrooms for scallops on New Year's Eve. That is also great. And I did get some king mushrooms as well. I was thinking one day this week I might make some shredded something, because you can the king mushrooms are really have long stems. That they're mostly stems, so when you cut them, they really do look like scallops, and you can sear them. You can also take forks and take those long stems and shred them up and make like pulled barbecue, or really anything chickeny that you like. I was also thinking I might kind of make some kind of, we got something from Caroline from Fiction Kitchen that was it a lion's mane dip that was kind of like crab ragoon-ish? And so I was thinking of maybe trying something like that. A little bit of cashew cream, maybe some Old Bay seasoning, a few things like that. Um, and Dawn says, have I used the black runner beans? And I have. I love them. I love them so much. The runner beans, and I don't have any right here, they're really big. So if you have a garden, a lot of times people will grow scarlet runner beans because they run up and then they have these beautiful scarlet flowers, but they have these giant beans in them. And what I love about the runner beans is the skin is a little bit extra thick, so you get a little bit of a toothsomeness out of it, and they're really delicious. Rancho Gordo is my go-to place for things like that. I don't know what they have in stock right now, but if you guys are interested, I've had the white runner beans, black runner beans, red runner beans. I may have had something else too. And Joey says it sounds like a nice dinner. Yeah, are you talking about my dinner or one of the other pretend dinners that I've been talking about? So does Susan says. And Gina says, hi, everyone. So excited. I discovered Kathy Live. What a gift. Oh, thank you. You are my gift, and I appreciate you. And I thank you for being here. And Helene must have had it, too. It is Lion's Mane. So Helene runs a lot of Veg Fests, and she actually does virtualvegfest.com, which is, I keep telling you, you can get my books through because we have them in the house so I can sign them. And then she takes care of the magic of the other part for me. Cheryl takes care of the magic of shipping, and she is a fine, fine packer. That's all I got to say. If I was left to my own devices, I would have a big stack of books ready to send out sometime. And Dawn said she made a whole pound and then made them into a black bean soup, and she's cooking it now, the black runner beans. That's awesome. And so, and they're so good. I actually used them in like some Thai food. I think I made a Three Sisters stew with those using like corn. I think I used winter squash and I used the red runner beans, and it was so good. I think that's in the Great Vegan Bean book even. Okay, and Joanne said it was my dinner tonight. And Gina says she loves Rancho Gordo beans. They're worth the price. And yes, and actually last night I made refried beans with some pinto beans that I got from my Rancho Gordo Bean Club. And typically you kind of get in there for like the cool, super awesome beans. And then you're kind of like pintos, but then they're always perfect. And even if you got the Great Vegan Bean book, I put a lot of heirloom beans in there so you could kind of see what was going on and make choices. But here's the thing. A lot of those fancy beans look like pinto beans when they're cooked. And if you can get your pinto beans really cheap and that fits your budget and that makes your life run well, then I am behind you 110%. So know that. I like to try new things when I can, but then there's sometimes that we can't, and that's okay too. So if you guys are cooking some of my recipes from plantbasedinstantpot.com or healthyslowcooking.com or one of my cookbooks, just let me know. You can either catch me on a live or you can join the Facebook group, Vegan Recipes, Cooking with Kathy Hester. And if I'm not around to answer it, people like Joanne and Elizabeth and Brandy and Marilyn and so many other wonderful people are there and will help you. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's right, Helene. I always forget Helene doesn't like mushrooms because I think that's crazy. She just knows the menu at Fiction Kitchen, which is kind of hilarious. And Marilyn loves Three Sisters stew. And Dawn's husband is obsessed with Rancho Gordo. Oh, Rancho Gordo hot sauce is really good. I think I just got some paprika. I need to do another unboxing because there's one I said I was going to unbox 6 months ago that I didn't, that I stole the paprika out of yesterday. And then I have right over there another box of Rancho Gordo. So maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I got a bunch of days, don't I? We'll do it at some point for sure. And yeah, and just Joanne, heirloom beans or grocery store beans, they're all good and they're all good for you. So we're using the same Instant Pot that we did yesterday. So the time is up. So I'm going to show you. So this is the Duo Crisp air fryer one. But I think some of the newer duos may look like this too. So this, do you notice it doesn't have the little thing? This does it. So I can do it lightly like this. And I'm going to try to, or I can push it and let it go down, but then once it's down, I have this thing that I can hit. But I'm going to let it go a little bit more. Yesterday, somebody asked me why I did it this way. And one of the reasons is the camera lens is right there. And so I'm trying not to ruin my camera. But also, it's just some little droplets of liquid will come out, and it's just better, I think, to do it this way. If you let it sit for about 10 minutes, then you don't have as much steam still built up in here. And Dawn says she loves the black beluga lentils, and I am crazy for the black beluga lentils. You guys know that. And see, you can even see here, if I go a little bit too far, it's starting to get a little bit too wet. And that camera costs more than this cabbage did. So, and Elizabeth had asked me earlier today, how long does cabbage last? And my answer was longer than it should. It has a right to. And you can always kind of peel things like an onion and make sure everything is okay and wash it really good. But I find that things like root vegetables, cabbage, those are all great things that can really last a long time. Things that used to go into a root cellar. That's one way of thinking things. Okay. And I love the black belugas, especially around Halloween, is one of the reasons, because they're nice and creepy. And if you go to, I can't remember if I put my Halloween layered meal up on the blog or not. It is in here. And I often use the black belugas or the French lentils because they're smaller than the brown ones, and they cook faster. Come on, speed it up. Anybody? Okay, so I see there's some new people on again. So what we're making is we're making Instant Pot sweet and sour cabbage. So what we've done before I cooked it, and I'm letting the pressure out, is we sauteed a half cup of onion with 4 cloves of garlic and a little bit of water. Then we added about 1 to 2 cups of chopped apple or 1 cup applesauce, 6 cups chopped red cabbage, and 1 cup of water. And we cooked it on high for 10 minutes. And we are letting the pressure out manually. You could leave it and let it go natural pressure release if you wanted to. It's not really going to hurt anything, and it's not like the cabbage. I'm more particular about quick pressure releases when we're dealing with cauliflower, but cabbage doesn't really get that same weird smell as quick. Okay. Ooh, I can smell it now. Yeah, and what Joanne says is one of the things that's great about the fall vegetables is their shelf life. Okay, let me move this back up in here. Okay, you see how pretty it is? And there's some apples. And what I can do, you can either leave this liquid or we could go ahead and saute. As you see the steam rising, so all this steam is water escaping. So if I want to, I could go ahead and press cancel, because you have to cancel in between everything, right? I could go back to saute and let it cook at a little bit higher. Okay. And if you didn't use apples, you're going to have a little bit thicker base instead of just the little apple chunks. Either way, it's good. I'm going to put probably a little over a teaspoon. I put the end of that in there because that's our sour part, the apple cider vinegar. You could use lemon juice. I don't know that I would want to use balsamic, but you do you. I'm also going to add some salt and pepper in here. if you don't use salt, you could make like a neutral salt substitute. I'm probably going to put between a half a teaspoon and a teaspoon of salt because Cheryl is not super hip on the cabbage. So adding a little bit of extra sodium kind of helps her eat it a little bit better, as it does the sweet and sour. Because some people don't like kind of that cruciferous part of the cooked cabbage. But we're not cooking cabbage all day long, right? There's a little bit difference. I even remember traveling in a car with somebody, I think it was for Thanksgiving, and they had cooked broccoli, and they were bringing it, and it nearly killed me. And that's the only time in my entire life I ever felt nauseous from the smell of broccoli. So I'm smelling it. It smells pretty good. And I just love the brilliant color of the red cabbage too. Yeah, Marilyn says it's really pretty. So does Joanne. Helene says, can you skip the applesauce and add more apple? Yes. I didn't use any applesauce because I didn't have any. So I upped the apple a little extra because I actually chopped up 2 apples thinking it was going to be like a cup and a half, and I was way off. One apple was like the biggest apple in the world. But I also made a little apple crumble. Can you guys see that? Here, see me in my sweatpants. I was trying to be good, but now you know it's the truth. Kind of in my jammies. So with the rest of the apple I cut up, I tossed it with a little bit of coconut sugar, the apple, a little bit of lemon juice, and just a little hint of vanilla extract. Then I just mixed up some more coconut sugar and oats. Sometimes I'll go ahead and chop some nuts in there, and I will cook this in the oven for a crumble for 2 while we're eating. And Elizabeth said it's not as pretty, but you can use green cabbage. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Joanne asked if the vinegar sets the color of the cabbage, and I guess it does. It always stays red. I don't really know why. I never thought to think about that even. So I've been mixing it around. I'm going to take a taste. That's really yummy. I want a little more vinegar in there though. And honestly, if you used an apple that is not very sweet, you could go ahead and put a little bit of maple syrup, coconut sugar, vegan sugar, agave nectar. And if you're unsure about the whole vinegar or sweetness of things, use less than what any recipe, including mine, tells you. And taste, because you can always add more, but you can't take it out. That's better to me. So it's really just that simple. And this is really, I mean, it's cabbage. It tastes good. It's cheap to buy. And I don't know what else to tell you. But it's dinner. It's part of my dinner. Do you guys have any, Elizabeth was wondering about using maple syrup. Absolutely. I would just use it maybe like 1 teaspoon at a time, because you don't want the maple flavor overpowering the cabbage flavor. Agave tends to overpower a little bit less than that. But again, I would never tell you what sweeteners you should use, or if you should use any sweeteners at all. As it is right now, it's SOS friendly. And it's only just friendly because I put salt in there. But you can use your favorite salt substitute if you don't do salt, or make a blend that's equal parts granulated garlic, granulated onion, and ground celery seed, or half the amount of celery seed. It's up to you. how much you like that taste. But the three together really give a nice neutral salt flavor. Oh no! Elizabeth said she's going to have to finish her recipe tomorrow. Her pressure cooker gave her the E3 error. I'm so sorry. I'm kind of like, I'm looking over there at a bunch of pressure cookers I have. So if you don't have a spare, email me. Elizabeth lives near me. And I might have one you can use for semi-permanent loan until I do another cookbook or something. I might need to borrow it back. And so so Joanne said, what does that mean? So like where this, I did saute again, but here we go. So where this on is, she's getting a message that says E3. And actually, I don't know. Let's see what the E3 message actually is. Here we go. How do you fix an E3 error? Let's see about that one. It indicates it's overheating. Unplug the cooker, open the top, leave it about 30 to 40 minutes, and begin the recipe again. Is it a pressure cooker XL? Actually, I'm going to turn that back on high. I'm going to turn it back to keep warm. So I've got to cancel, keep warm. Because I do want to keep this warm while I make the rest of my dinner. Set that aside. Okay. And it's not, I think it's, if it is a pressure cooker XL, this is the exact solution they say. Unplug, open the top, leave it for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then try again. Okay. And it's an ES error on the Instant Pot, I think. So I'm so sorry about that. But again, Elizabeth, let me know, because I can leave one out on the porch that you can pick up if yours is dead, because life is too short to not have your Instant Pot with you. Okay, and she says, nope, it's totally dead. And between Deanna and her, they have 4 Instant Pots. Okay, good, because I cannot let that happen. Let's see if there were any other questions. Do you guys have any other questions about this? So basically all we've done is we've talked a little bit about holiday meals, and to really kind of break down what's special to you about that holiday meal. And so sometimes it could be just having a favorite soup. And in fact, out of all the vegan Thanksgivings I went to, I can remember the one soup I had the year it was at the Washington Duke. I ate 3 or 4 bowls of that soup at a giant buffet. And I was just thrilled. I'll never have that soup again. I don't even remember what it was enough to try and recreate it, but it was delicious. And that's why I kind of said, for the holidays, if I could do a little, an appetizer of some oyster mushroom stew, maybe do some kind of other yummy soup there's just so many different ways you could do it. You could also do fondue. So in the vegan cheese class that we did last month, I made an almond fondue that's really, really good. In fact, the original recipe is in vegan slow cooker for 2, but we changed it a lot. And Cheryl and I ate it on everything, and I have some more of it I just found down in the freezer that might be making an appearance. Maybe we'll do roasted potatoes in the air fryer and put the fondue on it when we finally get to some air fryer recipes, which we will before the end of the month. Okay, guys, so again, it's easy to make stuff in your Instant Pot. Don't be afraid of it. Just take a deep breath. 2020's been a lot. We've been cooking a lot. So, put on your sweatpants, put on your favorite music. For me, sometimes when I'm cooking, I like a little Tom Jones action. I also like a fondue party, so that should surprise no one. And Joanne said skiing was always her favorite thing about Christmas. We just had slow cooker soup or stew with homemade bread. Oh my gosh, and there's nothing better than something like that. So try and take the busy and the trying to make up for things being different and channel that into some really good relaxation and self-care. Now, obviously, if you have a big family that's at home already, and maybe you have a lot of kids, you can't let up on some of the holiday stuff, and that's fine too. But just make sure that you're at least tucking away and enjoying, a nice hot cup of tea, and maybe make a nice scone, a cookie, or just poach some pears, right? And put a little bit of cinnamon in there. It really can take just so little to make a moment feel really special. Oh, and Cindy says that is her dinner tonight, some soup and homemade bread. And I wish I was going over there, but instead, I'm going to be cutting up some Beyond Meat sausage and frying it up to go with this giant pile of cabbage that we're going to eat, and some SOS-friendly mashed potatoes. And if the mood catches me, I'm going to make a mushroom gravy to go over all of it, just cause. Okay, you guys, if you have some questions, again, just let me know. Whatever platform you're watching from, you can ask some questions and I should get notified. For some reason, because of the platform, I don't. Just try and tag me or something like that. Susan says, thanks. Dawn says, we've been enjoying way too many homemade cookies. That's why I've not made homemade cookies, and that's why I bought this pan, because it's just enough crumble for 2, and then we're done. You are so welcome, Deborah and Joanne, and thank you guys for showing up and asking questions and helping make this community really warm and comfy. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.